Today, after quite a long break, we will have a conversation about Parliament, and we've been privileged to be joined by the Deputy Majority Chief Whip, who's also the Member of Parliament for Tolon in the Northern Region, the Honourable Habib Iddrisu is my guest. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, not bad.
Parliament is reconvening today. What are we to expect?
Thank you, and good morning to your listeners and viewers. As you know, we are reconvening today at 10 a.m. And this sitting is basically a budget sitting. But we have a number of issues to look at before we receive the budget. As you are well aware, they just finished the vetting of the Supreme Court justices.
Right.
We'll look at the appointment committee report on that and be able to take a decision on the vetting or the appointment committee.
Right.
The president also nominated two other individuals to the Minister for Gender and Deputy Minister for Gender. We'll also be looking at a number of bills and then some agreement. We expect the president, the speaker, to actually make a statement on the decision on the privilege committee that has to do with the three honorable members who were referred to the appointment, the privileges committee. So basically, this sitting is basically a budget sitting. So priority is on the budget.
Right.
We are expecting the budget. When the budget comes, then we go into committees and then we'll be able to approve the budget. And then the appropriation of the budget.
People have been wondering why there's a postponement of the reconvening of Parliament. That was once or twice?
Yes, I think it was once. Initially, it's supposed to be on
that.
Yeah, initially it's supposed to be on the 18th. But our colleagues from the other side, the NDC, as you are well aware, had their constituency election starting. So it was good that we give it a time so that we'll be able to wait when they finish with that. And then the leadership and the speaker was also out for IPU, in fact, which I am also a member. That is the Interparliamentary Union. That was in Kigali. So we visited with the majority minority leader, the speaker, myself, and then Ahmed, the other side, and some other MPs. We led the Ghana delegation to IPU in Kigali. So all this coupled with other factors was the reason why there was a postponement for a week. And today at 10 a.m. in the forenoon, we'll actually be reconvening.
The government will table, what do you call it, the budget for 2023, within this time. But the government is still in a conversation with the IMF. Closure is not in sight yet, even though the hope is that that conversation will be fast-tracked. That might prove difficult, would it not?
Yes, considering where we are at the moment, we expect the budget to be brought to Parliament somewhere in November next month. I am not privy to the extent of engagement with the IMF, but we are hoping whether an IMF program is rich or not, government definitely have to present its economic policies in terms of a statement on behalf of the President of the Republic of Ghana. So definitely it's a difficult one, but we are very hopeful that the presidency, the finance minister, and all those who are involved will be able to come out with a budget statement for us.
You are the Deputy Majority Chief Whip, so you whip people in line, a three-line whip. At the last sitting, we didn't see much of Honorable Adjoa-Safo. And that conversation will come up again, I'm sure, because of the Privileges Committee. Do you know if she will be present this time around? Have you whipped her in?
Yes, at the moment, we can only speak about what actually has happened. We are yet to reconvene today. And what happened was that the Privileges Committee, there was a referral of three honorable members to the Privileges Committee. And the Privileges Committee did their work. All of them were invited. Those who appeared. To the best of my knowledge, Honorable Adjoa-Safo didn't appear before the Privileges Committee. So the committee made its report, the report which was brought to Parliament at the plenary. And the day we were even adjourning, you could actually see that there was actually a problem as to whether the decision of the Constitution and Article 97 just has to kick in, that if you are unable to give a reasonable explanation, then the Privileges Committee is where the whole thing went. And that is actually the wording in the Constitution. And whether we need to discuss it at the plenary was another issue. That is why the report was actually delayed. In fact, the last sitting before this sitting we are starting today, she didn't actually appear, even not even once.
Were you were unable to whip her in?
The fact is that we were unable to reach her. We tried our best as whips to try to get her. We couldn't. But that one is gone. At the moment, what we have to deal with is that the matter was referred to the Privileges Committee by the Speaker himself. And then the Privileges Committee have actually been able to do its own work. And then the report is ready. So the Speaker, in actual sense, that he is going to give a written statement on it. I don't know what statement the Speaker is going to write, but what I do know and very convinced is that a committee of Parliament have actually been tasked to do something by the Constitution. They have done their work, they have done their pronouncement. So the best thing is for us to let what is set up in the Constitution to kick in.
How has the absence of, let me put it, absenteeism affected your side in Parliament? I mean, you're the majority side in Parliament. You will table motions and bring proposals and hope that you get a full complement of your side and then hopefully win the other side to get it running. Now, absenteeism on your side, how has it affected you?
Yes, the nature of this Parliament is such that it has never happened. It's one of its kind, that both political parties are having 137 with the independent agreeing to do business with that. You could see that has actually triggered a lot of interpretations in the Constitution, that some people have to send it to court, Supreme Court, to be able to interpret whether the first and second deputy speakers have a vote when they are presiding, and a whole sort of things, because we have never had this Parliament. And the fact that one of our members is unable to attend, that is Honorable Adjoa Safo, bringing us to 137. And per our standing orders and the Constitution, where you table a motion and you have equal numbers, the motion is said to be lost. So for that matter, it's been difficult. You have ministers of state who are on your side, who are cabinet ministers. They have, engagement that they have to do on behalf of the government of Ghana. They have a lot of things to do. So it hasn't been easy, to be a whip in this Parliament has been very, very difficult, because you definitely and always have to have your numbers. And you always, that's why we said that in this Parliament, consensus building is the way to go.
But are you achieving that?
Oh, yes. You could see that I am yet to say that there have been something that the government of Ghana or the presidency or our party have actually tabled in Parliament that hasn't been successful. So if you ask me,
the controversy of e-levy, for example.
Yes, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is for us to get e-levy passed, and we got it passed. We got the budget.
Some say, Jose Wusu was not altogether, playing by the rules.
No, but the point is that there is already a Supreme Court ruling on that. What people fail to realize and interpret is that if you look at our parliamentary system, it's a different thing when you come. For instance, the Constitution have made it clear, and it says that the first and the second deputy speakers must be elected among members of Parliament.
That's right.
So that means that the first requirement is that you must be a member of Parliament, and they might not come from the same political party, the first and second deputy speaker. So Joe Owusu came to the House as a member of Parliament for Bekwa.
That's right.
So any other thing is an additional responsibility that has been given him. Unlike the speaker itself, stated in the Constitution, the speaker, of which it has stated clearly that must not be a member of Parliament. Even if you are a member of Parliament and you are elected the speaker, it means that you have to resign, like in the case of Joe Ajoho. He has to resign and vacate his seat. But the Constitution has made it clear. So when we are counting members of Parliament, the first deputy speaker is a member of Parliament. The second deputy speaker is a member of Parliament. And they have
if he's presiding, does he retain his votes?
If he is residing, he is still a member of Parliament.
No debate, but does he retain his vote? Because he's looking at motions put before him on both sides, from both sides.
What we were actually contemplating with, people didn't understand, has to do with an original vote and a casting vote,
right?
Which are two different things that we needed to look like. If the first deputy speaker want to exercise his original vote, probably you could say that okay, he want to exercise his right as an original vote. But if he's using a casting vote, he can sit in the chamber. On the chair as a presiding officer, and
that's in the case where there's a tie.
Yes,
that's where casting vote comes in.
Exercise.
But then we saw him and MP Fomina, at some point where the brawl happened, trying to swap the seat so he could also go and vote, and culminating in a division and all of that.
It was just unnecessary confrontation from our friends from the other side.
Why do you say that?
Unnecessary confrontation because if you observe that day, the sitting was started by the Right Honourable Speaker, Alban Babin, who is not a member of Parliament. Then at a point, we know that, and we were very well aware that we were going to take the e-levy or take some decisions that day. Then the Speaker said, I have to go and do other things. The first Deputy Speaker should take over. So if we were not respecting the Speaker, we could say that, no, Mr. Speaker, today we have a vote. He's a member of Parliament for Bekwai, or he's a member of Parliament for Fomina. He won't take over from you. But we didn't say anything because we respect the speakership and respect the chair. So we allowed the first deputy speaker to change with the speaker. Even that day, the first deputy speaker was not feeling too well. I had to go and call him that the speaker actually need to attend to other things, so he should come and take over. Then, when the first deputy speaker also wanted to do something and wanted the second deputy speaker to take over, and then you said no, you don't want to.
What something did he want to do? He wanted to vote.
No, not vote. He didn't want to vote. You can be sitting in the chair and maybe you want to use the washroom.
But he made a statement. I was in Parliament that day. He made a statement. Honorable Joseph made a statement that when the second deputy speaker will take over, and then he will vote. After that, he will come back.
When he is not presiding, he's a member of Parliament.
No debate. But
thank you. If he is not seated, so if he said that I want to change with the second deputy speaker, as soon as that change is done, he's not more presiding. He has a right as a member of Parliament for Bekwai.
But the motion was vote before him.
No, but definitely when you are presiding and you change while the process is still going on, there's nothing wrong with it.
So you saw nothing wrong with it?
Yes, I didn't see anything wrong with that. The first thing was that we could have said that, no, Mr. Speaker, don't go. The first deputy speaker will not preside because he will be voting. He's a member of Parliament.
Do you think the speaker has been fair in terms of the split numbers, the hung Parliament, and
the speaker? Like I said, no speaker have this experience, but he has been able to do something very beautiful in time trying to handle us. It's a difficult Parliament, and if you look at the Parliament right now, he's one of the most experienced. Having been in Parliament from 1993, minority leader, majority leader, a minister, and other things. He has been able to blend a lot to be able to hold the House together for us to move. But, as we are back now, it is not going to be an easy thing. It's going to be a very difficult one. As you mentioned, the budget is coming. Government have gone to IMF. Almost all IMF budgets haven't been very friendly. We expect that the finance minister and then the government will bring a budget that actually will be accepted by all. We expect that some of the things that we have to do in the House, that has to do with the Supreme Court justices, that has to do with the appointment committee report, will actually be adopted by all. We expect that the Speaker will come and deliver his statement, or if you call it ruling, on the privilege committee of Parliament to also be very peaceful. But all in all, we are very hopeful that the majority side, like you asked, it has been very difficult, but we have actually been able to get everything done. Approving of the ministers, even at a point we have to vote for the ministers, the budgets, e-levy, the leadership have actually been able to carry. And we have
so the Speaker has been fair to you? Is that what you're saying?
For now, the most important thing is that the Speaker just presides. He actually is like a referee in Parliament. So when majority of the decisions that we take, the Speaker is not directly involved. Majority of them come to the plenary for us to take a decision. Sometimes the NDC side will say he's not being fair. Sometimes we also say he's not being fair. It's just like football. Sometimes delivery decisions, you think that it's not fair. But at the end of the day, you have a job to do. At the end of the day, you have government business to prosecute. So the most important thing is to get government business done.
Ghanaians hold the view, or a section of Ghanaians hold the view, that Parliament is part of our problems that we're facing in this country. And they make reference to the caliber of ministers that have been approved, even though there's a bipartisan vetting committee. You know, you give us an impression that person A, B, C, D, you know, has such issues around them, and then the next moment, approval. They think that you are part of the problems of this country. Do you take the fall?
If you come to the case of ministers, Parliament just do an oversight responsibility in terms of the president have the right to either hire or fire.
That's right.
So if the president have appointed his ministers and they are before the refer to Parliament, of which the Speaker then refer it to the appointment committee. Like you said, especially with the nature of this Parliament, we have equal numbers at the appointment committee, just that the chairman of the committee have a casting vote when there is a tie. So due diligence is being done there. They go through a lot of questioning, which is live telecast, if there are problems that they do have. In the case of this current ministers,
crop of ministers, right?
4 or 3 of them had problems. That is the Honorable Minister responsible for information, the Minister responsible for communication, and the Minister responsible for agriculture, and the Minister responsible for fisheries. They brought them before the plenary because the appointment committee could not take a decision. Mind you that the committee that is set up is still part of Parliament. So if they disagree and they bring a majority decision to Parliament, we actually have to be able to debate and vote on it. At the end of the day, it went into voting, and then these people were able to go through. If it had gone through vetting and they were rejected, it could have been otherwise. But to be fair, in the first administration, the same appointment and vetting committee had passed Kojo Oppong Nkrumah to be a deputy minister. The same appointment committee passed Howard Komson to be the minister for special initiative, and the same committee was able to pass on.
But the numbers were different, Habib.
I understand. But you see, the point is that
compared to 137.
Remember, they did not come to the plenary for voting. The decision was taken at the appointment committee. So if such ministers were already passed by the same parliamentary appointment committee, so what has changed? What grievous crime have they committed?
So what are you saying now? Is Parliament part of our problems, like the people say? Because they say, look, if you give us an impression that Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, for example, has microfinance issues, media ownership issues.
It was an allegation. Nothing was proven.
Okay. Howard Komson has issues about shooting at an
alleged shooting.
Well, she admitted the police has not charged. A member of Parliament is supposed to conduct. It's not an alleged shooting. Police admitted to it. It's not alleged. Sputnik V deal, for example, airport regime testing. Attorney General could not say. Foreign Affairs Minister could not say. The 2 other ministers, the Health Minister could not say who has a contract. All these issues were raised. Ghanaians were watching with bated breath, and all of them passed, with Howard Komson getting the highest number of votes. They think that you are the problem because the checks and balances rule, which they expect Parliament to have and to hold, was missing there.
No, I disagree entirely, but holistically, I cannot say that if there is a problem in the country, Parliament will not have a way to be blamed one way or the other. But if you look at the specific issues that we are dealing with at the moment, you could see that Parliament, definitely we will need to find the facts. We will need to be able to get the evidence and be able to see that this honorable member was not so honorable enough to be a minister. Then therefore the Parliament could reject it. But in these instances, there was nothing. All of them were allegations and counter-allegations.
Are you suggesting that Howard Komson picking a gun to shoot, which the police acknowledged, she acknowledged at a vetting table, that's an allegation?
I haven't read the police reports, and if actually
the police is yet to charge her,
even if your life is under threat, and the only option is for you to pull a gun for the safety of your life, you should do that. She didn't shoot at anybody. I think from what I heard was just to scare people away. But I know.
But members of Parliament have police guards, don't they?
It is this parliament.
You asked for police guards.
Yeah, it is in this parliament that we have actually appealed to the
so you have a police
minister
guard.
that yes.
How Akumsi has a police guard?
To have as a minister, yes.
Right.
As a
member of parliament, yes.
It is just now that they are now giving members of parliament bodyguard. No member of parliament used to have a bodyguard.
Okay.
Until after.
But she was minister in the previous administration.
Yes, she was.
Of special initiatives.
Yes.
So she had a bodyguard.
Yes.
Who went with her to the polling station.
Yes.
And she found it worthy to pick her own gun to shoot.
But definitely, if she has, like I said, if your life is under threat, definitely it's your life. You don't want to leave it.
Can you imagine what would happen if all of us picked our guns and went to the police station, shooting in the air, saying, "I
think the conversation is being trying to turn to look like a way." But you were making reference to the fact that how Akumsin had pulled a gun at a polling station. Circumstances, like I said, the police, you have said, she hasn't been charged, so she hasn't done anything wrong.
Right.
No court have convicted her of such a crime, so definitely she hasn't done anything wrong. But what I do know is that sometimes if our lives are threatened, and the only option is for you not to shoot at person, but to shoot a warning shot, to scare and give you an opportunity to run, it is a way to do it. She had options. The option is that I'm going to shoot at you, or I'm going to shoot to scare you. Right. And I don't think she shot at anybody. So the most important thing we need to know is that we need to appreciate that every life matters. This is a member of parliament which is actually contributing to the development of this country. So the most important thing was for us to look at the holistic picture, but not to say, okay, if everybody have to take a gun or other things. No, we haven't gotten there. The most important thing is that she has admitted to certain things, as you have said. The police, who are the sole people, agencies who are supposed to do the investigation and come out with the finding, okay, yes, the minister had actually done something. We are charging you before court. Then you go to a court of competence jurisdiction. And when you are convicted of any wrongdoing, then we could say that what she has done is wrong. Until then, we can only speculate.
So at this point, the other side of the divide, of the aisle, have blamed you for COVID-19 expenses. They say, look, you have not been transparent enough with them. And they lay particular claim to the testing regime at the airport. I know that attempts have been made to ask how much was accrued, of which we get 2% as a country. We don't know. Shelia Ekoboche doesn't know who owns the contract. Kwajima Menu doesn't know who owns the contract. Godfrey Dami doesn't know who owns the contract. And there's one other person I've forgotten. 4 of them at the vetting table all said they don't know anything about the contract, yet they became ministers. But that's beside the point. You say they went through the process. Is it a fair accusation from the minority side to you?
But you see, sometimes when this gallery politics is being played, we actually need to be able to appreciate the fact that a lot of things have been done which are not hidden. The most important thing is that there was a motion in Parliament for a bipartisan committee to be set up. A committee was actually set up to look into this. Chaired by Honorable Afenyo Markins, the deputy majority leader. It was live on TV. It was live on TV. They all appeared, who's supposed to give evidence, who's supposed to do anything, had appeared before the committee. The committee brought a report to Parliament, and the report was actually adopted by the preliminary, and everything went on okay. There was a subsequent question on COVID expenditure, which was also done. The only thing that had problem was that they had come under a standing order to say that, okay, they should go into the expenditure of COVID. And then they said, okay, we have already existing committees in Parliament which are capable of handling that. Why set up a bipartisan committee again in order probing the COVID expenditure? What's the use of the Auditor General? What's the use of the Public Accounts Committee? And their suggestion was that they should actually set up the committee to be chaired by somebody from the minority.
Okay.
And we said that if that is what you are looking for, you already have it in Public Accounts Committee. Public Accounts Committee is chaired by Honorable Aveji, who is an NDC member of Parliament and the deputy minority leader. So you already have in that. What do you need to probe in the COVID expenditure that you cannot probe that at the Public Accounts Committee?
Okay.
So that was the only thing that was in contention. But the most important thing is that a committee was actually set up to look at the activities of the minister responsible for health.
But there was a vote of no confidence.
No, there is a motion of
censorship, correct?
But that motion have never been moved.
Well, I remember that the last time Honorable George Ewusu was in the chair, and he, shall I say, refused or didn't take the votes, and you rose. This was the latter part of 2021.
No, the most important thing is that, you see, when
is that correct?
No, the point is that I think Honorable Muntaka and Co. they filed a motion of censure.
Right.
The motion was admitted by the speaker. So when the motion was admitted, it was then advertised. That is a different thing.
Right.
Now, what Honorable Joe Owusu failed to, not fail, but actually rule on was the fact that they brought a motion that a bipartisan committee should be set up to probe on COVID expenditure. And then, I don't have my standing orders here. Right. He referred them to one of the standing orders of Parliament and let you know that, okay, where we can only set up a bipartisan committee to be chaired by either the minority, as you have suggested. But our standing order says that if you already have such a committee existing in Parliament, you don't need to set up any. That was the ruling they
don't
gave.
You think that when these issues linger without closure, it further deepens the perception of the public that something untoward has happened? A motion of censure has been filed against a minister who admits that he took a decision to purchase vaccines without the tacit approval of cabinet and parliament. He also says that he was not thinking right, and he actually said that initially that no monies had been advanced, only to come back under oath to say monies had been advanced on live television. A motion of censure has been brought, and the vote is yet to be taken since 2021. Don't you think that situation where it lingers deepens the perception that something is being hidden?
You see, parliamentary proceedings, we need to be able to understand actually what happened in Parliament. I can sit down today and decide to file a motion that we should investigate somebody. It's left with the speaker. It's the right of the speaker. He will have the right to either accept or reject a motion.
Right.
So if the speaker then accepts the motion, then it is referred to the table office. Then they put it on the order paper. It is advertised.
Right.
And a date either communicated through the speaker for the motion to be moved. So the speaker, when the motion was sent to the speaker, I think the speaker admitted the motion because I have seen it on the order paper several times. Now it is left for them to set up a date and be able to move the motion. When the motion is moved, it comes with facts and figures based on the one who's actually filing the motion. But at the time that you are filing the motion, you, especially in the motion of censure, you need a number of signatures for the speaker to be compelled to accept such a motion. So definitely they got such number of signatures. I think it's 92, 97, I'm not sure. So they got those signatures and the motion was admitted. Motion being admitted doesn't mean it's a conclusion of a decision.
Absolutely.
It means that you will definitely need to get your facts. You can't come to Parliament and just make an allegation and you cannot back it. You definitely, if you say the minister responsible for health have done A, B, C, D, you should be able to back
Habib,
it.
nothing convicts a man faster than his words. He was heard on tape, in public, that I took a decision without consulting cabinet and parliament, contrary to the Financial Management Act, that I wasn't thinking, that I had said I had not paid monies, that I had paid monies. What else are you looking for?
But did you see the outcome? There was a report from that committee that he has spoken.
But the committee report gets to the plenary. The plenary takes a decision. What's the decision of the plenary?
The decision of the plenary is a two separate things.
And why has it taken so long to take the decision? That's what I'm asking.
The committee report has been concluded.
Right.
It is different from the motion of censure.
Okay.
That's two different things.
Right.
So the minister appeared before a committee, he were questioned, he gave response and then answers and other things. At the end of the day, the committee come into deliberation and they come to a conclusion and bring a report to Parliament. It's different from someone, okay, when it is concluded, and then someone will now say, okay, I am not satisfied. I want the minister gone. Right. So what do I do? I'm looking for signatures to, invoke part of the constitution to get the minister out.
Right.
Then begin to get the signatures, send it to the speaker. The speaker admit the motion, but the motion has not been heard. You see, Parliament is a whole lot of process. So if you just see it there, you are just looking for one day wonder. No, that's not how the whole thing.
That's why I'm asking you. when I will bring conclusion to these issues, because it continues to feed into the public perception that something is being hidden.
Look, and to the best of my knowledge, there is nothing hidden in the COVID expenditure.
You have left the first part of the conversation.
No, but
I will bring it closure.
But you see, the point is that I didn't file the motion of censure. Neither did any member of the majority side file the motion of censure. The one who filed the motion of censure, burden of proof is on you to move the motion and prove your point.
Okay.
So what I do know is that the minister appeared before a committee that was set up in Parliament, chaired by Honorable Afenyo Markins. The committee have finished its report.
You are satisfied with his answer?
Yes, I am satisfied with the. You see, if you travel, you see that COVID and the way Ghana we handle COVID, the president and his team did very well in handling COVID. Because people will sit down and say that, oh, during COVID, they gave us this, they gave us this. And then they will turn up to say that this government is borrowing too much or there is debt that they were giving. Though some of these things that came through COVID was not for the Christmas, was not a gift. Majority of them were loans. And loans means that it will pile up into the public debt.
But haven't you borrowed too much?
When you see, you borrowed, but you ask yourself, how did the borrowing come? If you want to go into the politics of it, I can tell you that close to 42% of the debt in stock that we are talking about was something that was left with the NDC.
Okay.
For example, the banking sector cleanup. It cost government close to 25 billion Ghana cedi in order to clean up the banking sector. That banking sector mess was not caused by this current government. It was the NDC government that caused that mess that was cleaned up. The energy sector, power purchase agreement negotiations and other things. It cost the government something not less than 10 to 11 billion Ghana cedi. The energy sector during the NDC time, we saw the dumpster that was going on, the kind of power purchase agreement that they went into. Government need to go into negotiations with that. So for us to have COVID expenditure, I'm coming. I am not done. COVID expenditure, close to 25 billion Ghana cedi came as a result of COVID expenditure. You see, sometimes, when we want to talk, I know we were going to talk about Parliament alone, and we actually want to say
but we have said within Parliament.
Yes, and we are going to say that especially government have borrowed, government have done this and other things, with the honest of respect and everything. Look, I do agree that times are hard and difficult at this moment, and we know that this government is working so hard to be able to turn things around. I cannot be able to sit down to remember any one country that say that they are not going through any economic challenge. I'm specific to economic challenge now. There's no country, even the developed, we are still developing. And majority of our activities are, we depend, our economy is driven by import. But you will come to zero down to the UK. A prime minister within 45 days is gone. I'm coming. You see, why did he go? Because of their economic challenges that they cannot manage. A finance minister is gone because of what? He came to implement the policies of the what?
When it favors your government, you
prime
compare.
Minister.
When it doesn't, you don't
No,
compare.
but what I'm trying to say is that
Kwesi Kwarteng was sacked.
With all honesty, things are hard. Times are difficult. But NDC is never an option.
Let's stay in the UK.
They are never an option.
Kwesi Kwarteng is gone. Ken Ofori-Atta is still a post.
Why was Kwesi Kwarteng gone? It was one reason. Kwesi Kwarteng said that Louis Truss, who appointed me as a finance minister, said that when he comes, there's going to be a tax cut. So I am bringing my mini budget and I'm cutting the tax. By announcing that I'm going to bring tax cut, then it shut down the market. Oh no, the response was not good. Then he was sacrificed by his own thing. So his crime was to implement his boss thing.
But Ken Ofori-Atta also said
the problem implementing what the president said.
Nation. We will not go to IMF. We are at IMF.
But the same finance minister took out from IMF. He inherited an IMF driven
extended
economy. He inherited an MPP government. The president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he was elected in 2016, inherited an IMF-driven economy.
But Ken Ofori-Atta said,
with almost everything.
Ken Ofori-Atta said, "I will not take you to IMF." He has taken us there. Should he not be shown the exit?
I agree that. I told you initially, the power to appoint and fire lies in the hands of the president.
Have you had cause to advise the president as a leader in parliament that, look, principle, keep the principle?
That's what I said. I have cited the Kwesi Kwarteng problem. He came as a finance minister to implement the job of his boss.
That's right.
And then at the end of the day, the response was not good and he was fired. So I think that the president, if he
the buck stops with him,
he is the best person to either expire.
My final question to you, I'm being counted down, sorry about that, but the lawyer Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner, has referenced Article 69 and called for the impeachment of the president. He says Parliament must lead in that charge to impeach the president, and you need just 1/3 to start the process. Is it a good call, bad call? Will you support that call?
It is an irresponsible comment to be made by such a person. Irresponsible. In the sense that you are saying we should invoke Article 69 to impeach the president on what grounds? The grounds, where was he when we were at IMF? When public sector recruitment was frozen, when Doomsor was everywhere, that was collapsing businesses, when a lot of things, did he say we should invoke that? We are in difficult and trying moment. That is a fact. COVID has affected every economy. Russia-Ukraine war has affected every economy and other internal factors that has happened. Yes, if you want to actually say that things are not going well, the president should sit up, the president should give us answers and other things. These are calls in the right direction. But to say that we should invoke Article 69, on what basis? Why didn't he say that in the previous administration, when President John Mahama was supervising and actually messed up this economy up to today? What is happening today, apart from the external factors, it's not from today. It started from somewhere.
Corruption.
Can you mention one government that has not been alleged of corruption?
You promised change.
No, but I'm saying
you
that...
You promised to do better.
But we are doing better.
Doing bad.
We are doing better.
Really?
We are doing better. But you see, I am saying that, I don't envy President Akufo-Addo. He is the most unlucky president now.
Really?
Because of the situation that he has found himself. When he didn't have this situation, from 2017 when he took over, to 2020, how was the economy like? When COVID and Russia-Ukraine war set in, what are we going to say? That has pushed us to IMF. Under the NDC government, what pushed us to IMF? Now, MPP are telling you that we went to IMF because of COVID. We went to IMF because of Russia and Ukraine war. During the NDC, what pushed us to?
They said they were a global meltdown.
A what?
A global meltdown.
A global what?
Meltdown.
Where? When did they go to IMF? When did they go to IMF? And when did we even have global recession? In 2009. Global recession was in 2009. And they went to IMF when? So sometimes there's a problem. I will not run away from that. Things are hard. Times are difficult. But the most important thing is that for the learned man to say that we should invoke Article 69, it is very irresponsible comment to have made. Ghana have gone beyond that. We are at a stage that we have a problem at hand. You see, but the one funny thing that
he's not asking for a coup, he's asking for the constitution to be actualized.
But that's I'm saying that on what basis?
He said the president has drawn the name of the country into disrepute.
Oh my God. And I'm saying that even before MPP came to power in 2000, the economy was a HIPC-driven economy.
Right.
And we went to HIPC. Did we say we should do that? Because now times are difficult, times are hard. Even what is the other alternative? The other alternative is that, you see, one thing, the difference between MPP and NDC is that when we were in opposition and NDC, the economy, inflation, microeconomic stabilities and other things, we were given series of lectures and telling you that this is what we will do different, this is what we will do different, this is what we will do different. Have you ever heard any, apart from sitting down to criticize the government and that, have they given even one single policy alternative that may be able to change them? If you are in a difficult time, we all come together to be able to see how we can save our dear nation if we so love. But we shouldn't be too political.
You didn't attend the Censure conference.
It's
you
empty.
Didn't come together.
It's empty, nothing.
The Censure was empty.
I'm saying that NDC have no policy.
But you didn't attend the
If they were
conference.
supervising, it would have been worse. If they were supervising, mark my word, they would have been worse. It would have been disastrous.
I thank you very much for your time. I will leave you to go to Parliament. Habib Iddrisu is the Member of Parliament for Tolon constituency of the Northern Region, and he's also the Deputy Majority Chief Whip. He spent his morning with us here on TV3 Newday. Stay with us at sports and more here on New Day. See you after the break.